Hi, everybody. Welcome to the reboot of Lead with Love. Today, we're going to have 3 or 4 topics of different areas that we're going to cover and share with you those things that have come to light, whether it be through the media or through just plain experience. Basically, my personal experience, try to share with you some of the things that went wrong and some of the things that you can help with. One of those being dental insurance claims. So stay tuned right now. Lead with Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Greco. For the next 30 minutes, you'll be talking about leading with love, LOVE, learn, offer, value, and educate. This comes from my book, Love is the Answer. LOVE is the answer. It's available at lulu.com or through amazon.com. Love is the answer. LOVE, learn, offer, value, educate is the answer. And you can find it that way with my name, lulu.com. So let's talk about the different topics we're going to talk about today, because I think that's important to take them one at a time. First of all, and this is very important, and just understand that I think of a lot of reference material. There's a lot of books that can be used as reference material, and one of those books is the Bible. And some people may find that offensive, and I'm sorry. If you find the Bible offensive, if you find that quoting the Bible is offensive, if you find that using the Bible is offensive, then, by all means, I truly understand that. The second topic is going to be about dental insurance claims. And the third is going to be talking about music as data, which is interesting in of itself. But today I'm going to talk about Jesus as the first one. Jesus is a great project manager. And I think, I was in church the other day and I was listening to this reading, and it's from Luke, and it's I'm not going to go through the whole reading, but I think it's very important to understand, that there's a lot of common sense. There's a lot of common sense out there. And this is a piece of common sense. And I think it's really interesting how Luke quotes Jesus during this area. And when he does that, he is, it's very, very interesting. And I just want to take a few minutes to do that, and then we'll talk about dental insurance claims. So this is the reading here, and it's from Luke 14:25-33. And this is from the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. It is, the Catholic side of it. Again, some people might say, oh, well, I'm a Protestant, or, I'm Presbyterian. I don't really believe in the Catholic stuff. I get all that. And you can look that up in your own Bible, look Luke 25 or Luke 14:25-33, and there may be a different aspect of it. But this is the one I want to talk about. Is which of you, wishing to construct a tower, does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if there is enough for its completion? Now, how common sense is that? Right? How common sense. Otherwise, after laying the foundation and finding himself unable to finish the work, the onlookers should laugh at him and say, this one began to build, but did not have the resources to finish. The one thing that's covered in project management, and it's covered over and over and over again, are resources, right? It's, yes, there's requirements, and you have to have the ability to have requirements, right? And the requirements are important, because that is absolutely the number one thing. And a lot of people sit back and they go, what is that? Requirements. You have to have requirements, good, solid requirements, not just, we'd like to have a bridge. What kind of bridge do you want? How long is it going to be? What do you want it to link? All of a sudden it goes all these different things. Construct a tower. A tower for what? Are you going to have is it going to be a brick tower? Is it going to be a metal tower? What's it going to have on top? Is it going to be a cell phone tower? Is it going to be a tower to take power across? Is it going to be a tower? What kind of tower are we talking about? So all these things have to go on there. And with every single requirement, and I tell this to all my project management trainees, with every single requirement, right? So one requirement equals one or more risks, right? So one requirement, you have one requirement, you have one or more risks for that requirement. So every requirement you make, every single one, should have an associated risk with it. Now, a lot of times people take the requirements and risks and they separate those. They go, oh, what's the risk on this project? Just take your requirements. Take your requirements and then you go to the risks. But all that to be considered is that what it is. The onlookers should laugh at him and say, this one began to build but did not have the resources to finish. Or what king marching into battle would not first sit down and decide whether the 10,000 troops he can successfully oppose another king advancing upon him with 20,000 troops? But if not, while he is still far away, he will send a delegation to ask for peace terms. So this is what I'm talking about. We talk about different aspects, and we talk about, especially when you talk about, using different references. And a lot of people don't realize that the Bible is a great reference, as are other religious texts. Don't get me wrong. It just happens that I came across this one. But if you're in church and you come across another reference, theological reference, you can use that. It's not that it's not that common sense is narrowly defined in the Bible. That's it. It doesn't work that way. Common sense is common sense, and it's throughout our whatever references you want to read. So all these things taken into consideration, you have that ability to take a look at your references and then use them for what you need to do. So that is a very important part of that. And I wanted to cover that because I think it's funny that we come across these things. I just want to share them with you. That's what this show is about. This show is about sharing. It's about, sharing different aspects. And look, if you want to share something, if you want me to share something on the air, there is the email right there. Just give me an email and say, hey, Chris, something happened to me I want to share. I'd be more than happy to give you credit on that. That's not a problem at all. But this is a learn, offer, value, educate. This is, I learn, and then from the learning, I offer it to you because I value you. I value you as an individual. It took me a long time to do that, a long time to value people, as a person I need to share with. And, keeping knowledge, when you keep knowledge, it's, what's the phrase? If you have a light, why keep it under a basket? I mean, it makes no sense, share the light with others. So that's what I'm trying to do, is share with you that aspect. So let's talk about the second topic that we're going to talk about today, which is dental insurance claims. This is pretty important. So I want to make sure that I covered very well. So what I did was I tried to put as many things as possible in here so that it works. So I tried this doodly. It's pretty cool. So basically, what we're going to talk about today, and this is kind of the aspect that we want to cover, is dental insurance, right? And then we have the different subtopics. What to pay, right? What do I pay? When do I pay it, right? Very important. And then, should I pay it? Should I pay it? So what to pay, and what we're going to do is start there, right? What does the explanation of benefits say? What they call the EOB, right? And we'll actually give an example of an EOB here in a second. But does it have zero in the amount you owe, right? So these questions, when we talk about these questions, what to pay is, what does your EOB say? And then, does it have a $0 amount in the amount you owe column? And then, these questions are really the most important. And because of that, we're going to take a look at an EOB, an actual honest to goodness EOB here. So this is an EOB. Right? This is now everything is redacted that has to do with that. But you can see, there was a porcelain ceramic crown here. There's a core buildup, and then you have here amount you owe. Now I'm going to bring this up a little bit here so you can see it. The amount you owe is $0. $0. Now it just so happens that the insurance company and the dental clinic have an agreement that the dental clinic will not charge you any more than the insurance company will allow. And this is very, very important. When I called the insurance company about this, they basically said that this was the deal, that they will not, the dental clinic will not charge you any more than what is allowed through the procedure by by the 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 uh, um, the dental area, the dental insurance. So the amount allowed is zero, but your amount you owe is zero. And this is in blue, but for a reason, right? The amount you owe is zero. And then it talks about the different notes, and those notes are very important. And you need to read those notes, right? Rejected due to restricted documentation. The required documentation was not submitted. Your provider has been contacted. So at this point, and I think this is very important. At this point, we sit down and we say, okay, what happens next, type thing. So what do we do, right? So it's all about the money. It's all about aspects. So now we talk about the different aspects of, the main issue in this whole thing is that patients feel the need to pay the bills. I know I do. If I get a bill, then I feel the obligation to pay it. And it seems to be the case with older patients, the seniors that are out there, they get a bill, and most of them will pay it. Some of them will fight it, which I've learned fighting it is better. The dental office may send you a bill saying you owe the amount on the bill. But what you need to do is check to see what that bill is, and check to make sure that it's not charging you for something that the insurance company says you owe $0. Okay. If the amount you owe on the bill is different from the EOB amount, pay only the amount owed on the EOB. And you call them and you tell them, look, the explanation benefits say I owe this much. That's how much you're getting. And that's it. Because basically what they're saying is with this, and this is pretty important too. I was told this. When they put here the amount you owe, when they put here the amount you owe is zero, right? Because I think that's pretty important. When they put the amount you owe is zero right here. So basically what that means is that means you owe no money. They can't bill you. The dental, they can, of course. The dental office can bill you, but you call them and you say, look, the EOB says amount I owe is zero. I don't give you any money till the insurance company, because you're a premier partner, or whatever you want to call it, with the insurance company. I don't owe you any money till these insurance claims are properly filed and properly completed. And the thing is, and my mistake, and it's a mistake that I admit readily, is I paid my bill. So once I paid the bill, they had their money, and they probably had more money from me than they would have gotten from the actual insurance claim. So basically what happened is that I gave them actually more money than I needed to give, I probably needed to give them. That is my fault. It's totally, I take absolute responsibility for that. My lack, ignorance is no excuse of the law. Same thing here. I messed up. Now, I fought it somewhat, and I was able to get some money back, but not nearly the amount that I actually paid in. And that's okay. Bottom line is I don't blame the dental office, because the dental office, they're out to make money, and they give you a service and they expect to be paid, right? And I don't blame the insurance company, because the insurance company is trying to do their best to do whatever they can do to send you EOBs and whatever else. Next time, I read the bill, I read this whole thing, I read amount you owe is zero, I pay nothing, zero. If they give me a bill, I call them and say, I'm sorry, but until this claim is settled and whatever else, I still owe you $0, 0 cents. If you want any more information or whatever else, contact the insurance company. You contact the insurance company and you take it out with them. In the meantime, I owe you no money. And the thing is, the nice thing about this is all legal documentation. So if they attempt in any way, shape, or form to go for collection or anything else, as long as you keep these EOBs and as long as you document what you're doing, and every so often you maybe call the insurance company, make sure everything's okay. Bottom line is that you can take all that and you can pretty much fight any type of collection or anything else that they have to do. So don't be scared. Don't be scared to make that known. But that is what we're talking about. So getting back to the actual presentation. So if the amount you owe is different, remember, you only owe the amount on the EOB. So, that's That's what it does. And that's, here's your invoice, right? And the invoice is, talks about different aspects and what's going on and all that. So this is, and interestingly enough, when you talk about a bill and you get a bill, it gets scary, right? Because all of a sudden it's like, wow, what do we do? How's that all work, right? So it's not, you know, a call to the dental office will usually be warranted should the bill arrive and not reconcile with the EOB. You got to call them because they may not know. The billing and the billing department and the claim submission department may not even be, talking to each other. So you have to be careful about that. Make sure that everybody knows what's going on, right? So if the dental the amount is especially important of the dental officer is if the dental office is a partner with your dental insurance. If they're a partner, and the insurance company told me, they cannot charge you any more than is allowed by the insurance. I mean, when they told me that, it was like, wow, that's part of the deal with the dental office. That's correct. So basically, it's like, wow, that's a very, very interesting. I know that's the way it's supposed to go, but I never realized it's the way it does go, right? So, I mean, it's those types of things when we talk about, how we're doing and what's going on there. We'll only accept the amount allowed by the insurance company. That's it. The caveat, right? That partnership, that's a partnership. Some call premier partnerships, some call it, whatever you want to call it. It's just, it's those types of things. So that's what we're talking about. So, the summary is this, always check your EOB when you get it, right? Always check to see how much you owe. Always call the dental office if you have any questions or anything else that you have to do with that. I mean, it really is interesting from the standpoint of people, and they talk about different aspects of it. And, and oh yeah, and one last thing. If you already have an account on your dental insurance, website, you can track your claim. And that's what they said to do. And the nice thing about it is, this could be useful if you have any issues, if you have anything that goes along with that, if you have any, if something happens in a specific procedure, then you have that ability to be able to do what needs to be done to make that claim good, right? So, I mean, you do not want to spend any more than you need to, especially on people with fixed income, right? I mean, if you want to do that, well, then, there's going to be an issue, because if you want to spend more money, go for it. Any company, anything that gives you a service, you want to spend more money for it, they'll take it in a second. But you don't want to do that. You want to pay that which is just, that which is deserved, earned, whatever you want to call it. And the thing is that, I get real antsy whenever I get a bill. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to pay this bill. I don't want, because it will act on your credit rating. I mean, if you don't act on a certain bill, if you don't pay a bill, that could develop into a credit rating issue. So it's best to get that reconciled right away. Call the dental office, call the dental insurance company, make sure that everything is covered, make sure the situation is, and I know it's a pain. I know it's inconvenient. I get it. This bit was 6 months, 7 months in the making. It was just a mess. And I learned a good lesson. I really did learn a good lesson from this whole thing. So that's basically, the areas I wanted to cover today. The last thing I wanted to cover was the music as data. And I just wanted to cover this real quickly. And in the show, I used to have the data show. And that's why I think this Lead with Love, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take this into the data aspect and into the worldview. It's going to try to cover a lot more things, because it seems people, they love these little snippets, boom, 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 boom. When you go into something and you go on, people just don't like to do that. So music is data. What is music? So music, everyone sits back and goes, how in heaven's name can you possibly have music as data? Well, let's take a look at this real quick. And I think this is kind of cool. So I'm going to go to uh, I'm going to go to, well, first of all, I want to make a shameless plug. That analyst walks into a bar graph. Just want to let you know, it's on Amazon. It's my book. It has to do with funny research studies, things that seem a little bit ridiculous, but anyways, that's the way it goes. So let's talk about this for a second. So let's talk about um, what they call the. I'm going to put in here the magic formula of music hits, right? And say, what is that? 10 secret pop music formulas, right? Simply put, there's no magic formula that allows songwriters to write hit songs. Established guidelines do that, right? Then it says, songwriting formula, 8 tips for 2020, right? Song length, don't bore us, get to the chorus. Hook, line, and sinker, memorable hook. Key to success, believe it or not, whether a song can be so all these things, they do that. Now, how do they do that? How do they get this type of formula? How do they figure it out, right? Is there for TikTok song success? Showcase the magic formula for making hit music. The hit songwriting formula. 8 tips for 2020 at this point in time. So let's just take a look at that. How to write songs. Call Me Maybe Deconstructed, right? Can song lyrics predict hits? And this is, song lyrics of the 1950s. So, I mean, basically what happens is when you have an open library like this, you can open a PDF, you can take a look at this. But I love looking at it because basically what it's built on data. You see this right here? Built on data, folks. I mean, we're just going to open this PDF here. But, we're just going to open a PDF. So if we, oh, well, never mind on that. I don't want that. Forget that. So if you have, a certain amount of data, and also remember, music only has 8 keys, right? It's only got 8. I mean, when you take a look at this, so let's just take a look at it real quick. So if you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Those are the notes that you can deal with. That's it. There are no other notes other than A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, everyone says, well, yeah, there's sharps and flats. Yes, there are. There's A sharp, there's B flat. B sharp is actually C, so B and C. C flat is actually B. C sharp, D flat, E and F, there's no sharps, flats, F and G. So those are the things you have to deal with, right? So how does that work? Well, the easiest thing to do when you're creating a database is to take a simple thing, is to take the number, right? What they call a count of each note, right? So that's what I would start out with. I would start out with a song, maybe a top 100 hit, whatever it is. Take the count of each note. How many A's are there? How many B's? How many C's? How many D's? How many E's? How many F's? How many G's? How many A sharps? B sharps? Or B flats? How many C sharps? How many D flats? How many D sharps? How many E flats? How many F sharps? How many G flats? How many G sharps, right? So you have all those, and then I would take the count of that and figure out, okay, there's a count. Then what you can do is you can take, so that would be the count of each number, each note. Then I would say the adjoining note, right? So which one adjoins the other one? Is there an E next to an F? Is there an F sharp next to a G? Is there, so all those different combinations. Now that's a lot of combinations, right? Basically 8 to the 10th. I mean, there's a lot of combinations there. But you could see if there's like one that actually stands out, and that's the adjoining note on either side. Or and the thing is also then next is going to be the timing, right? What's the timing on that? How does the timing work? So all these things you can start to build a literal database of music, and And then you can sit there and say, okay, well, what's the top 100 hit? Oh, this. Okay, what's the top 100 hit? This one. Is there any similarities between those? Is there any similarities that, of timing? Is there any similarities between a key? Is there any similarities between the number of notes? All these things go into, how that all works. So I just, thought I'd throw that out at you as saying because a lot of people have told me in the past that, data is data, but you can do anything. You can make anything data. You can make anything data, anything, name it. Email me, say, Chris, can you make this data? Yeah, you can. Here's how it's done. You can actually a step-by-step approach on all those things that go along with that. So this is what I want to leave you with, is that one, from the project management point of view, because that's what we talked about in the beginning, is requirements are important as a part of a resource of project management. Number one, right? Second part we talked about, dental insurance claims, is know what your explanation of benefits says and how much you really owe. That's really important. And finally, the last part was music is data. Anything can be data, even music, because music can be you can drill down into music to the point where you can see it, where you can take it and numerically define the sheet of music, numerically define it. So all these things go into what's going on. And those are the things that have to do with sharing. And that's what I wanted to share with you this Thanksgiving week. And please have a great Thanksgiving. Please spend time with your family. Please tell them that you love them. Please, 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 give as much as you can, share as much as you can, and be as patient as tolerant as you can with your family, because chances are something's going to crop up and you need to during the holidays, because it always does. And there's things. Last Christmas we didn't have any heat for 3-4 days during Christmas. Not a lot of fun. It was very cold here. So it's those types of things. You just have to be kind of patient at times, and a lot of tolerance, and it just all works. So with that, I'm going to say to you that love is extremely important. And when you learn something and then you offer that information to somebody else, you value them as a person, and you also help educate them in the way of maybe how not to do things, and share with them and help them in their lives. If you impact one person in your life, think of how many times that person will impact other people and how those people will impact other people. And all of a sudden, you have a lot better world, because that is what it's all about, is sharing. You must share, even if people don't want to listen. Sooner or later, they'll listen. Sooner or later, it'll just, all you're doing is planting the seed, letting it grow. It'll probably turn out that they'll say it's their idea, but who cares? As long as it helps them to conduct themselves in the society in which they are. So, folks, please learn, offer, value, and educate. Love is the answer. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Take care. Bye.